Adam Bennett thought he had grown used to life pinning him against the wall, raising a 6-year-old daughter alone, drowning in debt, working a job that barely kept them afloat. But that morning, when he was summoned to the 36th floor to meet the most powerful woman in the company, everything went far beyond the fear of being fired. Luna Sterling did not fire him. She looked him straight in the eye and said, "I need you to pretend to be my husband for 1 year." Adam froze. Then he asked the only question that mattered, half joking, half serious. "So, we're sharing a bed?" And that was when the real trouble began. It was 8:45 on a Monday night when Adam Bennett's phone buzzed on the corner of his desk. He was hunched over his laptop in the dim glow of the office, typing another bland tagline for a product no one would remember. The screen read, "Daycare." He swiped it open and heard the tired voice of Miss Carter on the other end, telling him his daughter had a fever and needed to be picked up early the next morning if it did not break by then. He said he would be there. He always was. Adam hung up and rubbed his eyes, the kind of exhaustion that came from juggling too many things at once and dropping most of them. He had been doing this for 3 years now, ever since his wife died and left him with a 6-year-old, a pile of medical bills, and a life that felt like it was held together with duct tape and hope. He saved the document, shut down his computer, and grabbed his jacket. The office was nearly empty. Most people had left hours ago. Adam was halfway to the elevator when he turned the corner too fast and collided with someone coming the other way. A leather portfolio slipped from her hands and hit the floor. Papers scattered across the polished tile. Adam dropped to his knees immediately. He said sorry and started gathering the documents. The woman crouched across from him, her movements precise and controlled. He looked up and recognized her instantly. Luna Sterling, Vice President, the kind of person who did not make small talk in the break room and did not need to. She was 29, cold in the way that powerful people often were, and she rarely spoke to anyone below the executive floor. She reached for the portfolio at the same time he did. Their hands did not touch, but the air between them felt tight. Adam handed her the folder and stood. Luna straightened, her expression unreadable. She thanked him without warmth and turned to leave. That should have been the end of it. But it was not, because Adam noticed something she had missed. A sealed envelope, cream-colored and embossed, half hidden beneath a filing cabinet near the wall. He picked it up and called out to her. Luna stopped, turned back. He jogged toward her, holding the envelope out like it might explode if he held it too long. Luna took it from him and opened her purse. She pulled out 5 crisp $100 bills and held them toward him. Adam stared at the money, then at her. He shook his head and said he was just returning something that was not his. He did not need to be paid for that. Luna's eyes narrowed slightly, as if she were trying to solve a puzzle she had not expected to encounter. She asked if he was sure. Adam said he was. Then he walked away, leaving her standing there in the hallway with the money still in her hand. What Adam did not know was that Luna Sterling did not forget things like that. She went back to her office and pulled up the employee directory. Adam Bennett, copywriter, lower tier, single father. Financial history, strained. No corporate alliances. No connections to her brother Derek. She leaned back in her chair and considered it. Derek had been circling her position for years, quietly dismantling everything she tried to build. Luna needed someone clean. Someone she could control. Adam Bennett fit the profile perfectly. 7 days later, Adam received an email from Human Resources. He was being summoned to the 36th floor at 9 a.m. No explanation. No context. Just a meeting request with Luna Sterling's name attached to it. Adam read it 3 times, trying to figure out what he had done wrong. He showed up at 8:55, wearing the only suit he owned that still fit. The 36th floor was glass and steel, all sharp edges and cold light. A receptionist directed him to a conference room at the end of the hall. He walked in, and found Luna sitting at the head of a long table. She gestured to the chair across from her. Adam sat. Luna did not waste time. She told him she had reviewed his employment record. She said he was competent, reliable, and unremarkable. Then she said something that made his stomach drop. She needed him to do something for her. Something that had nothing to do with his job. Luna told him about her father's will. The company had been left to her, but there was a clause. The person in control of Sterling Marketing Solutions had to be married. If Luna did not marry before her 30th birthday, control of the company would transfer to Derek. Adam asked when her birthday was. Luna said in 11 months. She said she needed a husband, not a real one. A contract. 12 months. No emotion. No complications. Just a performance. Adam asked why him. Luna said because he had no reason to refuse. She had done her research. He owed over $120,000 in medical debt from his wife's illness. He was 2 months behind on rent. His daughter's daycare was barely covered. Luna could fix all of that. She could erase his debt, double his salary, provide health insurance, and set up an education fund for his daughter. All he had to do was play the role. Adam asked what playing the role meant. Luna said it meant moving into her penthouse, attending family dinners, posing for photographs, convincing her brother and the board that they were a real couple. Adam asked the question that had been sitting in his throat since the moment she started talking. He asked if they would be sharing a bed. Luna's expression did not change. She said only when necessary, only when they needed to convince someone who mattered. Adam told her he needed 24 hours to think about it. Luna said that was fine. She stood, handed him a folder with the terms written out in legal language he barely understood, and walked him to the door. That night, Adam sat in his daughter's room and watched her sleep. She was small for her age, her breathing soft and steady. He thought about the life he was giving her, the cramped apartment, the second-hand clothes, the constant fear that one bad month would put them on the street. He thought about what Luna was offering: stability, security, a future that did not involve him lying awake at 3 a.m, doing math in his head and coming up short every time. He picked up his phone and typed out a message. He told Luna he would do it, but his daughter stayed out of it. No publicity. No involvement. Luna replied within 2 minutes. She agreed. Adam set the phone down and closed his eyes. He had just sold himself. He was not sure if that made him smart or desperate. Probably both. The contract was signed 3 days later in a lawyer's office downtown. Everything was there. The money. The timeline. The rules. No emotional attachment. No physical relationship unless required for appearances. Termination clause after 12 months. He signed his name at the bottom and watched Luna do the same. She shook his hand. It felt like sealing a business deal, which, he supposed, it was. He moved in on a Friday. The penthouse was cold and immaculate, the kind of place that looked like it had been staged for a magazine shoot. Luna showed him to a guest room at the far end of the hall. She told him the rules again. No crossing boundaries. No personal questions. No expectations beyond what was written in the contract. Adam set his bag down and looked around the room. It was bigger than his entire apartment. He felt like an intruder. That Sunday, they attended their first family dinner at the Sterling estate. Derek was there, leaning against the bar with a glass of whiskey in his hand. He smiled when he saw Adam, the kind of smile that did not reach his eyes. He walked over and shook Adam's hand, his grip just a little too tight. Derek said it was a surprise. He had not known Luna was seeing anyone. Luna said they had kept it quiet. Derek asked how they met. Adam said at the office. Derek raised an eyebrow and asked what Adam did. Luna cut in before Adam could answer. She said Adam was in marketing. Derek nodded slowly, his gaze lingering on Adam like he was trying to find the lie. Dinner was stiff and formal. Adam sat beside Luna, his hand resting on the back of her chair, because that was what a husband would do. Luna placed her hand over his at one point, a brief touch that looked natural but felt rehearsed. Derek watched them from across the table. On the drive home, Luna said Derek did not believe them. Adam asked how she knew. She said, because Derek never believed anything she did was real. That night, Adam lay in his bed in the guest room and stared at the ceiling. He thought about the 12 months ahead of him and wondered if he would survive them. Then he closed his eyes and tried to sleep. He did not succeed. The first 2 weeks in the penthouse felt like living in a museum, where Adam was both the exhibit and the security guard. Luna left for the office before he woke up and returned, after he had already eaten dinner, alone at the kitchen island. They exchanged maybe 10 sentences a day, most of them logistical. That was the extent of their marriage. Adam spent his evenings on the couch, flipping through television channels he did not care about, waiting for the clock to tell him it was acceptable to go to bed. On weekends, he went back to his old apartment to see his daughter. Those were the only hours that felt real. 3 weeks after he moved in, Luna told him they had another family dinner. This one was different. It was at a restaurant downtown, the kind of place where the waiters wore white gloves and the menu did not list prices. Derek would be there. So would 2 other board members. Luna said they needed to be convincing. They arrived 15 minutes early. Luna wore a black dress that looked expensive and unforgiving. Adam wore the same suit he had worn to sign the contract. They sat across from each other at a table near the window, waiting. Luna told him to relax. Adam said he was relaxed. She said he looked like he was about to be interrogated. He said that was because he was. Derek arrived exactly on time, flanked by 2 older men in tailored suits. He greeted Luna with a kiss on the cheek that looked affectionate and felt like a threat. Then he turned to Adam and extended his hand. They sat down, and the performance began. Derek asked how married life was treating them. Luna said it was an adjustment. One of the board members, an older man with silver hair and a voice like gravel, asked Adam what he did at the company. Adam said he was a copywriter. The man asked if that was how he and Luna had met. Adam said yes. Luna reached across the table and placed her hand over Adam's. She said they had kept it quiet because they did not want office gossip. Derek watched the whole exchange without saying a word. When the appetizers arrived, he finally spoke again. He said he had always thought Luna would end up with someone